This passage brings up again the issue of control. So we see where someone's attending an Al-Anon meeting and they feel comfortable with the format and how things are going, and they go to a different meeting and things aren't run the same. You know, you get in different situations, there's different personalities there, and there's more than one way to skin a cat, you know, there's more than one way to maintain the rules and the standards of Al-Anon and run a group a little bit differently. So there's some freedom there. But it shows the need for control. So we get comfortable with things one way, and we want everything to be back in that very particular uh, comfort zone. When you live with or you're around controlling people, you know, you'll see it. Oh, the dishes have to be put in the dishwasher my way. There's only one right way. Um, I don't want to pay the electrical bill. We need to live in a house in the darkness because I pay the bills around here. You'll see control just expressed in so many different ways. And you know, when people object to things, it's so important to pay attention to what they're saying because we might be a controlling individual that's crossing boundaries, and we need to change if we're going to have, you know, long-term sustainable relationships with people, particularly children. So remember, the kids are shaped and molded in our households, and then they go out and they want to find a partner. And if they've been controlled, if they marry someone who's like, they're going to flip out. There's going to be a big reaction to it because it's like someone's had their hand over their mouth their whole life, and they literally can't take it anymore. So consider the impact your opinions, your needs, your wants, your desires. Do they affect everybody in the room? It's a good question. Do your needs have to take priority over every other person at the meeting? Every other person in your household? Or can you flex? Can you flex? And I think that when we're little kids, we think, oh, when I get big, I'm going to have it my way. When I get big, things are going to, you know, when we get big, we act like a little child and we think, oh, I've got the power now. Everything's going to go my way. And no, 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 no. When you get big, you're supposed to be a servant. You're supposed to serve others. You're supposed to be able to, you know, swallow your pride, swallow your needs, swallow and meet the needs of others. That's how you raise healthy kids, is by setting your needs aside within balance. There's boundaries, but just some thoughts. This issue of control bubbles to the surface all the time and keeps bubbling up. And you gotta be looking for it. Am I doing this? Is this in my personality type? And what the heck am I doing? All right, April 22nd. At first, the idea of searching for defects of character, wrongs, shortcomings, and harm I have done can seem like just another excuse to be hard on myself. That's why it's so important to concentrate on the first 3 steps long enough to develop a spiritual foundation. In these early steps, we admit the areas over which we are powerless, such as addiction and other people, and learn that a power greater than ourselves has no such limitations. We decide to place our will and our life in the hands of this higher power, and we let go of burdens that were never ours to carry. And we begin to treat ourselves more kindly and more realistically. When we move on to later steps, we do so for our well-being. We begin a process that is immensely rewarding, and we go forward under the guidance of a higher power. This enables us to be much more gentle with our recovery. Today's reminder: the first 3 steps are the cornerstone on which my progress is built. No matter how long I've been in this program, I won't hesitate to touch base with the foundation of my spiritual health. The quote is, I now have a goal I can see clearly in a program with which to work toward it. It is my guide to self-improvement, comfort, and a better way of life. And this is from the dilemma of the alcoholic marriage. Again, we all have defects of character. It's true. If you find your way to a loving higher power, and that shows if you're really seeking out the will of that higher power and not your own will, it shows up in everything you do, in the nuances, in the corners and in the crevices and the subtle things of everything we do. I pray you find your way.